Okay, we might as well start then. The August meeting of the Board of Water Commissioners is hereby called to order. First thing on the agenda, reading of the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the previous meeting.
And I'll second.
Okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And carried. Presentation of bills and accounts.
I move we accept the bills and accounts as presented.
And I'll second.
Okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? They carried. COVID-19.
Yeah, I think we're doing well. We had a couple of scares. One guy had a close contact because he went to a party. You know, we had to kind of reinforce behavior, responsibility. I think we did okay. We ordered in supplies because the governor just signed a new law. It was passed by the legislature that moving forward, all municipalities are required to have pandemic supplies on hand forever, whatever. And so we're developing a list. It fits into our emergency planning anyway. We had emergency plans for a pandemic, but we really didn't have any PPE on hand. And so that seemed a little stupid to me that we didn't. So we will now. So we're ordering in supplies. Plus, we don't know how long this is going to last. So we're going to need some supplies. So we're doing well with that, though. Everybody seems to be on board. You know, I have nothing else to add unless the mayor has something. I mean, I think in general, the city's doing pretty well. Yeah.
Okay, good. Cooper Lake improvements.
Okay, there's two items. The first is we sent in the permit applications to DEC. DEC returned them with a notice of incomplete application. It became apparent to us as we were reading through it that she didn't get our secret documents, partly because they were all working from home. They were submitted. So we're working on that. I think we'll absolutely be able to work through that. There's some things that are a little strange that we've had to reach out to our attorney for. She wants us to do a co-application with the DEP, which is, we don't understand how that even would work, and neither does the attorney. So our consultants are having a call one day this week, hopefully. I won't be able to be on the call since I'm on vacation. And sometimes that's not a bad thing that they're able to have a discussion with the attorney. And I'm sure we'll get that straightened out. That wasn't the technical review, which is the dam safety folks. And I imagine that they've been on board with us all the way through. So I don't imagine anything shocking. This was just more puzzling, this letter that we got. And it was pretty obvious she hadn't read any of the secret documents. The second item that we need to do is we have an approved Schnabel to do task 13, 12 and 13. 12 is proceed with the bid documents to go to bid. And the item 13 is the construction management piece. And I believe I sent out with the board packet the amounts for those two items. And we'll need a motion on that to approve that. The funding is in place because we have the bonds that have been approved for that. And the other thing is, I'm assuming that I think it's the third round of the WIA grants will be coming up in October, the deadline for filing, and we'll be resubmitting that application for Cooper Lake for the funding for the drinking water portion. We'll see how we go. But just with the information I sent out, task 12 is the bid, which is $40,400, and the construction phase is $1,310,000 for a total of $1,710,400.
So the bonds were approved.
Yes,
So the actual funding for that is going through like an opened bond or whatever you call the,
yes.
not
yeah.
going through the state.
No, we're not, we haven't been granted that funding yet. We're gonna try for a WIA grant to see how we're successful. But if the WIA grant doesn't go through, we can always look for a low-cost loan for the drinking water portion. And I've been led to believe that that is certainly eligible. So there were some issues with the wording of the resolutions last year. We were working on the advice of our bond counsel, and the amounts, we needed to go back and redo it. We couldn't get them done in time. And so we have everything in order to go through and do it, process it for this October, which in fact, most of the documentation has already, Matt's already sent it in. So we're not paying the full $15 million back because we've been working with John and the bond counsel, and we know that we wouldn't have needed any more than $4 million this year. And as it turns out, we're probably not even going to need that much. So that's Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the band that we're working off of this year is only
$4 million.
What?
$4 million, that's correct.
Right. So the rest of it's, we've been approved. We just haven't gone out to say we need that money yet.
How much of that 1.3 million is, I mean, that's for the whole project?
1.3 million is the construction management phase of this. And the actual fee to do the bidding, to get the bid documents together and answer questions during bidding, and to try to get contractors on board is for a little over 40,000. While we're waiting on DEC to approve the permits, it's absolutely the right time to get the bid documents together. And as you recall, with the project labor agreement, they really need to look at the bid documents before they can see if this project is a viable opportunity for them. Remember that discussion. So we need the bid documents before we can actually talk to them.
Right, but I guess my question is the 1.3 million, do we need to authorize that now?
Or both.
I guess technically you don't. I mean, we can do it in pieces if you want.
Well, well, it's not costing us anymore if we approve it because
Right, and they can't start work on that or bill us on that aspect of it until we actually get ready to go to bid and have shovels ready to go in the ground and a contractor on board. So we're a ways away from that. So if you wanted to hold off on that, you could. But
why do you prove it now, Judy, that you have your board? Everybody here is on board and they know what it is. There's no reason not to approve it tonight. Is it?
Not in my opinion, but Dennis was asking the question.
Right, we're just approving the contract. We're not really have to pay any money until it's billed to us, and it's not going to be billed to us on the construction part until we actually start construction, which is, some a ways down the road yet. We don't even have an approved plan yet.
No.
So,
Optimistically, it would be the spring. Optimistically, depends on how long DEC takes.
okay. Is there any other discussion? Other than mine, I guess. And otherwise, I'll look for a motion to approve those two contracts.
I'll go ahead and make that motion to authorize Schnabel for task 12 for bid phase services at a total of $40,400, and task 13, which is the construction phase services, at a total of $1,310,000.
I'll second that.
Okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carried. I noticed from the previous meeting, Judy,
Yeah.
there was the land use permit letter and the water supply application was Was I supposed to sign something, any of those?
You did, I believe.
Okay,
You signed the land use application and Matt got it back in. We got it into them on time.
okay.
We were
I just
asked,
remember you guys sending me something and I dropped it off
right.
a couple of
We were
weeks ago.
asked not to submit.
Also had a sign letter, do you remember that I came in to say you about? There was no-
We weren't asked, we were asked by
Sent
the,
you by email to forward it on.
we were asked by DEP not to send in the agreement because, and this seemed a little odd to me, but they sent us a draft agreement. My assumption was that when we got their draft, it was their standards and it had been approved by their council. Bill reviewed it and the board approved it, but he had yet to send it to Corporation Council in New York City. So they work their, when they send you a draft, DEP sends you a draft, evidently it has yet to go through their legal review. I don't know how that works. But anyway, Bill Richardson, who's coordinating this on the DEP's end, sent me an email tonight asking us if we had any changes. I said, no, we've already approved it on our end. We're waiting for your final approval. So I imagine he's a little distracted because he's probably got 4 or 5 of these out there circulating around.
Okay. Nothing else on Cooper Lake then, right?
No.
Okay. The transmission main rehab project?
We had a couple of challenges in the last few weeks, but I think we've gotten over them and we're on track to finish by the end of the month or shortly thereafter. On July 22nd, we were just completing the first tie-in at the bottom of the hill. We had done the 2. So right now we have the 2 new transmission mains are installed and the connections at the top by the reservoir are all in. They were the hard ones, at least as I thought of them, at least from an operational perspective. The 3 on the bottom, the 5 on the bottom weren't, in my mind, quite as challenging, but when we went to do the first one on the 22nd of July, we had everything all together, the contractor, everything had gone well. Our guys had done a great job on the shutdown. Ryan and his crew are amazing. They're just, really diligent about it and careful and thoughtful. And just as we were putting it back online, it blew out. I've never seen that much water fill up a hole that quickly in a long time. It was very scary because the contractor's laborer had just climbed out of the hole about 30 seconds before it erupted. So we got lucky, nobody got hurt. That delayed us for a day, but it all got back together. And now CDM is rethinking the fact that they said thrust blocks weren't necessary. And now thrust blocks are necessary. So we're working that out. Thrust blocks had been designed, but Paul did not believe that they were necessary, but I think he's changed his mind on that. Anyway, there's going to be some change orders because of the thrust blocking that we now think we need. We also, for the day that we lost, and I think those change orders have been included in the packet. The other issue we had was we were unable to get a shutdown with those old valves on the one day. And we ended up having to have a $50,000 insertion valve put in. And I apologize for not waiting until the board meeting to have that approved, but we actually needed to keep the project moving forward. And we were successful. That valve insertion worked really well. It was a 20-inch valve insertion. It took about 4 hours for them to do. It was pretty amazing. And now we have an operational valve on that side of the creek where we never had it before. So the change order, I think you have a sheet in your packet, Matt included. So we have 3 change orders that I'm looking to have approved tonight. 4 actually. The first, which is going to be easy to get approved, is a time extension at no cost to take us through the end of the month. The next one is change order 12 is a valve insertion for just under $50,000. Change order 13 is the rework of tie-in number 3. That's where the main kind of, where the dresser blew off the line, the 20-inch line when it was just coming back online. That was negotiated pretty heavily. PDM has obviously not charging us for any of the engineering work and any of the engineering supervision associated with that. Paul takes full responsibility for that. The contractor put the thing together and they installed the dresser, so they ate some of that responsibility. So the net time that they lost in doing that was $10,000. And then when we couldn't get the shutdown, that change order for that down day for 3 of their employees who were involved in the shutdown was $5,000. So altogether, the change orders for tonight, change order 11, 12, 13, and 14 are $64,987.50.
We need a motion on that.
Yes. Yes.
I'll make the motion, we accept the change order of 11, 12, 13, and 14.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay. So where do we stand then on that, on the money for this project? I'm not sure if I understand all the Matt's.
We still have, this is the one that had about $500,000 in the grant that we weren't going to use for this project, so we still have the leftover, so that's where we're at right now. So this is coming out of the additional grant money that we had left.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion and a second for change orders tasks 11 through 14. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carried.
Thank you.
Is that everything then for the transmission main?
Yeah, it's you know, the tie-ins, I mean, it's going to be wonderful when we get it all done because you can see that, you know, we're going to have new valves and new lines and, but the challenge is in these tie-ins using valves from 1927. We had, I believe there was a successful one this Monday. Matt, you haven't heard that it wasn't successful, correct?
I have not.
Right. So, I mean, I think we have a third one to do on Friday. And then next week we have 2 more that we're going to do. And then we should be substantially complete, except for some cleanup work and some other things. So, I mean, you know, if my hair wasn't white, it would be by now. These are a little challenging. When you're bypassing the reservoir, you're sending one main directly into, I mean, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And we really, I know change orders are never pleasant, but we're very lucky that we have, you know, Ryan and his crew. Debbie's in there supervising, you know, kind of, if I can't be there, she's there taking notes and telling us what's going on. The guys at the plant, and we have a decent contractor, and we have a good engineer in Paul Cabral. So it's going to be a challenge, but we'll get it all done.
So Friday is the next one, and then next week will be
Right.
2 more.
Well, yes, and then there's a piece of main they have to put in, and that's going to take them. They have a hunk of the 18-inch main that they got to cut out and repipe, and that's probably going to take them 10 days. And so after that, we'll have the final. Then we'll be all set to go. So, and Jim sending that 18-inch main directly into town still works.
Okay.
You
Binny water.
Just wanted to update everybody. When the tropical storm blew through, we had some significant damage up there. We had a tree fall on our we own from Sawkill Road up to the top of the hill. All the poles and all the lines belong to the Kingston Water Department. The damaged the tree fell, pulled the wires. I've never really seen it happen like this, but those wires are so taut on those poles that it pulled the topmost pole, which we own, almost at a 45-degree angle to the ground, and it pulled Central Hudson's pole at the bottom and the opposite 45-degree angle. We had live wires down on the fence, which is never a good thing considering it's a metal fence. Anyway, the guys knew the power was out at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but they just assumed it was a normal power outage. We have a propane generator up there that's good for about 15 days, but nobody actually went down and looked at it. Next morning, 7 o'clock, we went up to turn valves, and there's the wires down and the poles are at this rakish angle. So Central Hudson was really good. They were in the middle of all this and they were very helpful. They killed the power. Jim Carey came in. He, did what he had to do. We got Reed Electric in there who set those poles. They had to replace a couple of cross pieces, reset 2 poles. And at the end of the day, and Lee Winnie had to come in. We had to get LW Tree Service to remove the trees. At the end of the day, we're probably looking at $20,000, $25,000 worth of damage. We haven't gotten the final bills yet, but Matt contacted the insurance company and I think we have coverage except for $1,000 deductible. So that was kind of good news. And then I guess it happened again this week. More trees came down. We didn't damage any poles. Jim got it back up. Central Hudson did what they had to do. And so there's going to be some more. I don't know if that will go through the insurance company. At the end of the day, what we're going to do is have some of those trees taken down. I've asked a couple of, I'll put it out for a small bid to get some pricing on just one of the reasons these trees are coming down is for this project. As the mayor knows, we have a ski jump up there. We took down all these trees and now the trees that are left are right against the power poles. We need to take them back a little more. So I've asked Lee to work up a price and I'll get another competing price from some other tree cutter. So that's it. It was an interesting day.
Well, we weren't out of water service, obviously, so.
No, the generator is wonderful. The generator was good. The generator kept everything running. The road was passable, so we could have gotten the propane truck up there if we had needed it. So we got power back up within 3 days. So, and Jason Malesia from Central Hudson has been tremendous to us. He really has. He was able to get himself redirected from Putnam and places over in Dutchess County that really were hard hit to get our water supply back up and running. So we're really grateful to Central Hudson for helping.
Okay.
Mayor just sent me a note about possibly getting some money for the tropical storm, and I'll forward it to Matt, and we'll get those costs together and send them over to the mayor.
Good. The WIA 2020.
I sent a spreadsheet out on that. I'm working with CDM to get those costs together. We're trying to back into a $1.5 million project because the grant we received for this is only allowable for 60% of the project. So that gives us about a $1.5 million project. I want to sit down with Laura when I get back, and I want to see if I can move some money from task 3 to task 4, simply because we really need those transmission main valves in the city. And whether some of these valves are electrically actuated or not, it's probably not our highest priority, but that's our basic. We'll bring this back to you to approve it, but next month. But in the meantime, we want to see if we can move some of those piles of money around a little bit to get the most efficient project for our needs right now.
So these are all planned projects out of this grant.
When we applied for the grant, these are the 3 areas we hit that we said we needed the money for. And it's essentially a continuation of the project, the transmission main project that we're doing now, and a little bit on the SCADA project.
Okay.
There's some things in the SCADA project that we should really do. And there's some other things that, you know, the staff really would like to do, but we may postpone that because what I really like to put as much money as we possibly can into the task 4, the transmission main valves. And I don't know why it's task 1, task 3, and task 4. I don't know what happened to task 2 because I don't think there is a task 2. I think they just got misnumbered on the spreadsheet from CDM. Things happen when you work from home. So
So there's no action other than for our information at this point in time.
just for your information, and as we move it around, as we will rejigger that, but basically we're going to end up with a $1.5 million project because that'll maximize the money that we have.
Okay. Quarry Street.
We've got the, I think last month we talked about the probable costs, and I contacted the school district, and after I get back, I'm going to sit down with Tommy Clapper, and they're thinking that they want to renew their portion of the main at the same time. So it'll maybe lower all of our costs a little bit because we'll be able to split such things as mobilization, maybe, you know, let the bids at the same time, have the same contractor. So it maybe become a little bit more efficient project for both of us. But I don't have anything else to report because between his schedule and my vacation, we weren't able to get together and sit down before I left.
Okay. The roundabout.
It's going well. I mean, from our perspective, we had a couple of hiccups on, they didn't want to install services as we specify they have to be done based on our regulations. But that was a minor issue. We got through that pretty easily. Somebody's going around telling them that they don't have to follow city code. I don't know who that is, but it's not. I said, the only person that can waive those, it would be under the mayor under an executive order. And I said, I'm not aware that's happened. So you really need to use K-copper and you need to make flared connections and you need to have a licensed plumber on the job. And the licensed plumber should be doing the work. And so that's how that kind of came down. But after that, their contractor seems to be very capable.
So what are they actually doing right now?
They were actually, they hit a little snag. Our mains were accurately marked, but what we didn't know and what they didn't know was the main is it should be at, say, 5 feet. And we assume it's always at 5 feet as it moves down East St. James Street. And it, for some reason that none of us can figure out why, it took a dive like a 45 and then down to about 9 feet. That put it in conflict with the sewer. So they had to relocate our main, which is fine. It happens. And so that was a little snag, but we're working on East St. James Street right now, right in front of that house that keeps getting shot at. So, but you know, the contractor seems to be on the ball and the project manager seems to be on the ball. So, it's worked out very well.
Okay.
So far.
Good. Tech City.
I don't really have anything to report. You know, Dennis, as you and I discussed, and Bill, we got I got a call from Dennis Doyle that maybe they wanted to use the Bank of America buildings in the short term for the school district for COVID-19 class. And they needed fire protection. And after our discussion, I shot him an email and said, I need to know what you really want from us. And you saw, I think I forwarded the email today that they're still looking at options and they don't really have anything to ask us for right now.
Yeah, it's difficult for us to respond if we don't know what they're asking for us,
Exactly.
from us, so.
Exactly.
make a request and we'll deal with it.
I said, there's
Figure
gotta be a way for a solution. I just need to know what you want.
Okay. And they're paying the bills as,
Yeah, I mean, farm to table is, or I'm sorry, yeah, whatever, I think that's farm to table, right? They're paying their bill. And when there's a county uses very little water in those buildings right now, but when there's usage on the meter, they get the bill and they pay it. That's okay. I mean, the minimum's not being paid, and it's only a matter of time before people move, but so.
okay. Correspondence?
I don't have anything.
Superintendent's report? You know how much rain we actually got out of that tropical storm?
I do not. I
Okay.
do not. I can tell you that the day before the storm, on SCADA, Mink Hollow was sending about 2 million, was registering about 2 million gallon flow from Mink Hollow into Cooper Lake. I can tell you the day after the storm, it was registering 10.5 million gallons. So storm made a difference, the lake, and we're still gaining. I mean, even though I'm on vacation, I'm looking at the SCADA every day to see what's happening, just because old habits die hard. Anyway, and we're still getting a lot of water coming in. So one of the issues we have with the SCADA system that are being fixed and dealt with is at the end of the month, I can get a monthly total, but I have to wait till the end of the month to see how much rain I got during the month. I can tell you on a daily basis what I get, but if I look at today's rainfall, I can't see yesterday's. So that's being fixed. But that's one of the limitations we're working on. So I'd have to have Derek total it and send, because they write it down every day, so we can do that. But it's a little glitch in the system. So you want to know what happens like every day, like in 3 or 4 days? Like, yeah. Oh, okay. So they are working. That's one of the little weird things that they're working to tweak for us.
The storm that you reported before with Binney Water, was that this past Monday?
Yes, that was Monday. That little, I guess you guys, it was beautiful here, but you had a really.
Yeah, I mean, I was up playing golf in Woodstock and
Yeah,
got caught in about a 40-minute deluge. It rained pretty hard for a good half hour.
I believe Binney Water, the Green Acres, I know that end of the town of Ulster, Richmond Park, the storm came right through there. I don't know what it did every place else.
Pretty good.
Right, but I know up Binney Water, it was pretty severe.
So I'm assuming, Cooper Lake in that area probably got quite a bit of rain on Monday afternoon also.
I would think so, but I haven't talked to anybody to find out. I know that, rainfall's been down, but I know that the lake's coming up because of the tropical storm that we had. So.
Well, it's the way everything's going now. Like you reported back during Niagara, we're getting more rainfall on an annual basis, but it's just severe storms. The 3 inches, 4 inches at a time, as opposed to a nice inch or so.
It's called climate change.
Yeah.
And we're getting more rain on an annual basis, but it's coming in fewer but more violent and more rain at once. So yes, it's which is why ultimately someone should raise the level of the lake to hold more water to get us between storms, but that's for another day and another time. So.
Okay, so we need a motion to accept the superintendent's report.
I'll make that motion to accept the superintendent's report.
I'll second it.
Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. We have something in executive session, or do we have to go into executive session?
I don't have anything specifically for executive session, but I did send you all a memo about promotion for one of our laborers, and unless you want to discuss it, I mean, I'm fine if we don't go into executive session, as long as you don't want to discuss the details of why we think should be promoted. I think I was pretty self-explanatory in
Right.
the memo.
But we need a motion to
Promote him, yes.
promote him.
Right.
I'll make that motion to promote Pat Van Wagenen from laborer to water maintenance assistant at a salary of $46,622.
Yes.
Cents.
I'll
And
second that.
that'll take effect when?
Whenever you say.
Well, okay, well, normally in the past, we've always done it to the pleasure of
Matt?
Matt in regards to what works out better for him to,
The next pay period would start this Saturday, the 15th. So that'd be the beginning of the next period.
okay.
That makes sense. Pat meets all the requirements. And he's just he was a real fine choice. I mean, we're very pleased to have him.
So Peg made the motion. Did I have a second?
Yes, I second it.
Okay, Joanne second. Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, carried. Is there anything else? Other than the fact that if I'm not mistaken, this might be Peg's last meeting?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Peg, for all of your
It's
service.
been fun, guys. Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you for your service.
Yes.
Great job.
Yeah,
Glad to
We'll
have met
miss
you.
you, Peg.
Nice to work with all of you.
yeah. All the best.
Thank you.
So really now we need to figure out, we need two board members.
Yeah. So
So,
Dennis, I'm going to be putting out this week in my newsletter, now that Peg's officially departing us, I'm going to put out in my newsletter that we've got 2 openings on the commission. And so we'll be accepting applications over the next couple of weeks. And, hopefully we'll have someone for the September meeting, but if not, definitely for the October meeting at the latest.
Okay,
And
so-
if you'd like, I can put that out on our Facebook page as well. I can have Jane will take that and do the same thing. I mean, I'm sure that you have many more readers than we do, but it's okay.
It's good to share it around. So I'll have Summer send it over. Okay.
It is.
And the rest of the board members, if you have someone that you think would be good to work on the board, maybe pass that along to them and maybe they can apply through the process.
We forgot to tell Peg that she couldn't actually leave the board unless she brought a replacement, but it's okay.
Well, yeah, I
It's okay.
was going to say that, Steve. I agree.
Yeah. Problem.
Yeah. Okay,
I'll
well,
look
thank you very
around.
much, Peg, for serving.
My
Appreciate-
pleasure. Thank you.
Okay.
If there's nothing else, I guess a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion, we adjourn.
I'll
Okay,
second it.
okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Thank you all.
Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Take care, Peg.
Bye-bye now.
Yeah,
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
bye.